Welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. This is a very special episode because this is episode 23 and I will only get one episode 23, so we're going to make it a little bit different. First, I will do a little bit of housekeeping. So, we'll start with a couple of questions that have come offline. So why did I name this channel the way I did? And I think a lot of things are a bit sideways in our current culture and world, but they're oddly sideways. It's not like an easy, this is wrong, it's more like this is weird. So 23 degrees, both from a jokingly Discordian perspective, you know, Hail Eris, all hail Discordia 5. So it's like being off by a weird, indivisible prime number of degrees instead of like 90 or 60 or 15 or something. Things are just really weird. As you can see, I'm running a video a day this week, and that may continue. It probably should continue and even increase to 2 or 3 videos a day for reasons that I'll get into towards the end here. But right now it's hard to maintain my personal activism in the face of 13 subscribers. Let's see what happens and what I can do about that, shall we? So, let's talk about more of what the channel is about. I've had a lot of offline from friends in email questions about that. And so the channel's about oddities. It's about magic and psychology and current events and technology. And anything else I come up with. It's really my playground. It's not really about politics. Touching on politics is unavoidable at times, and I really am striving to keep myself from becoming a political commentator in the process of this channel. When I do touch on politics, it's usually less about politics than it is about presuppositions and reality tunnels and ideologies and how you handle the world. And it's usually necessary to stir up some independent thought, rethink what you see, get some new viewpoints on accepted half-truths or untruths. I'm not really trying to make it like a goal to go after a certain ideology. So, what sorts of things are sideways? Well, marketing, which doesn't even make sense in its own goals anymore. Technology, which has seemingly gone from the promise of a better life to being repurposed to a creation of dependence, lack of awareness, and increasing debt. Very sideways. There's a lot of things and factors in society and government that are very sideways. That pretty much anything is grist for the mill, and there's a lot of things that are just weird, like binary coded decimal. Moore's law says that computing power increases by about a factor of 2 every 18 months. Yet we abandoned binary coded decimal, which is really, really useful, in favor of doing binary arithmetic, even though the processing capability that we have doesn't make that a serious advantage. It does mean that you can do stupid tricks like 2 times 2 equals 3.9555 something, you know, and get really wonky answers that you have to then correct for, which you wouldn't if you had binary coded decimal. So it's sideways, okay? But it's not something people usually think about. Or why the metric system is actually inhumane, non-humane, not human-based. I'll have to do a video on that at some point. So, most of my videos, and the series especially, when you're looking at a playlist, are multi-purpose. They're here to make you think and to provide a different perspective on things. Shock you into wakefulness, remove complacency, maybe get you angry, okay? The consensus videos really did that one in spades. Despite the limited number of viewers I have, people really don't like attacks on consensus. You know, you've got the anarchist who says that everything must be consensus. If the one person vetoes, then pure anarchic democracy says nothing happens. But the problem is that eventually people want something to happen. They need to get the crops in. They need to get the truck down the road. Okay? which means that you're going to have to step over that veto and step on that veto, which means consensus decision making becomes bullying because it doesn't have a rule set built in to protect the individual. Anyway, another purpose of the videos is to create an impetus for action. So if things are sideways, there's really only one set of ways to fix it, and that's you have to do something, be it personal action or writing government representatives, which sounds very lame, but you'd be surprised how well that works. It works as a psychological and a magical act, as a spiritual act, as well as a practical act. If you write to a congressman, I'm in the United States, so I'm going to say congressman. If you write to a congressman on a weekly basis, and you do it for more than 6 months, they're going to know who you are, and if you're at all coherent in your writing, they're going to start listening to you. They may even come ask you questions. They ask me questions. So this, of course, only applies if you live in a place with some sort of representative government. There may be other methods to influence your government in other systems. And one of the bigger purposes is to open up some ground for another purpose of the channel, and that is to create technicians. Using a dictionary definition of technician, it's a person who is skilled at or expert in the technique and practical application of an art, craft, or technology. So a piano technician is someone who's really good at playing the piano, executing playing the piano. At the same time, a piano technician could be someone who is expert at the tuning and repair of a piano, even if they can't play a note. One of the goals of the channel, perhaps, to create what we could call, for lack of a better term, spiritual or consciousness technicians. I could say magical technicians or psyche technicians. We've come to a limited public understanding of the word psyche, and we've regulated the term psychology. So we can't really work within those limited definitions, and we're not really working psychologically per se, but we're working much more in the core of the self, the awareness, the being, the soul, the spirit, so to speak. Magic is a wonderful word to use in certain contexts, but we're going to mostly avoid it because a lot of what we're going to be dealing with isn't really in what most people consider a magical realm. All of you Templars accepted. So this is unabashedly spiritual. You're going to have to get used to that phrase, to that word, okay? And if that makes you uncomfortable and causes a little bit of discomfort, or, oh, we don't talk about that, we don't deal with that in society, that's a good thing, because you need to think of your psyche, your psychology, as being fundamentally spiritual and not just behavior or mechanistic. So let's say, for the moment, spiritual technicians. Don't need to worry about that part excessively. My interests are far too broad for that to dominate the channel if that's not a place you want to go. But this does mean I have to strike a balance between timeline, crucial current events type based videos, permanently applicable videos, stuff you'll want to look at in 5 years, and sort of a timeline of how-to videos. I'll have to, of necessity, introduce periodic reminders and tasks into the mix. That's going to be very interesting, and that could result in 2 or 3 videos a day where I just make a video saying, hey, remember the 3 rules. Do stuff, don't stop, finish something. Are you doing stuff? Have you done stuff? Can you write any of it down? Are you stopping? Don't stop. Don't let any excuses pile up, and finish something today. So that's a reminder, okay? This is the 23rd episode. Yay, we're going really well, and stay sideways.